Oh, we are live. Talking about mail order bride. What is it so special or so great or so dangerous or so unfriendly or so really cool about mail order bride? My name is Natalie Koval. I'm an international matchmaker with hundreds of happily married couples between Ukrainian women and foreign men. And today, my guest is Ulyana. In February 2021, it will be 2 years since she left Ukraine and has been living with her husband in the USA. And today we will talk about prejudice and sweet sides of immigration, of being a mail order bride, or whether there is a notion of mail order bride. And you will hear firsthand comments, firsthand sharing experience, and we will talk about everything that matters in this respect. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel because I'm sharing important information. I'm sharing good stories to help you create your own love story and make it possible. So if you are subscribed and have hit the bell button, you will hear announcements and you will be with us in our new streams. Uliana, my dear,
Hi,
how are
Natalie.
you? How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Great. Thank you for coming and visiting, and thank you for seeing you again. We miss you a lot.
I miss Ukraine too sometimes.
We've been making Christmas tree today. It's pre-holiday time. I see you're glowing with holiday time as well, right?
Yeah, you can say so. Well, it's raining in Washington, so it's not kind of Christmassy, but that's what we usually expect here. People do decorate their houses, so they want to be like in the festive mood. They do a lot of decorations. Yeah, so that's how we can. Plus the COVID restrictions, you can't really go outside and do a lot of things. So, but we try to manage somehow. Yeah.
Great. So let's talk about a notion of a mail order bride. What is it? Um, do you feel yourself a mail order bride?
No, I don't feel it. I actually, you are the first one from whom I heard this term. So I've never heard it before. I didn't know that people think this way. It's kind of offensive, in my opinion. Mm, but everything is possible in the world, so probably it has a place to be somewhere. But I don't feel this way, and I would never call any of the girls I know here in the U.S. Ukrainian girls mail order bride.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Well,
it's just that I don't know them. Maybe they exist.
okay. Well, right now, the whole phenomena that is called mail order bride is about somebody who puts her profile online and is meeting her husband not through like meeting somebody personally, but meeting through internet, meeting through arranged scenario. So that is generally understood as mail order bride. But we are going to talk about more than just meeting your love online because you didn't meet your love online. He was there, he was in person. It just clicked, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm going to mention about five points about the whole idea of meeting somebody online and immigrating from Ukraine into a different world. In your case, it's the USA. But ladies immigrate to France, to Germany, to Switzerland, to Australia, New Zealand. And that is also, is this a sweet escape? And well, most people think that a Ukrainian bride is a desperate woman who wants nothing more than to marry a foreigner, preferably maybe American or someone else that is rich, and start a new life. Well, but in fact, it's almost always incorrect. And uh, what did you gain as a foreign wife, and what have you lost from being out of Ukraine, Ulyana?
What? Well, I gained the family, and I lost. basically everything that I had before. All my career aspirations, all my friends, all my connections, all of these have been lost. So yeah, it's like you always have to pay, right? So pay the price. Pay the price for being married, pay the price for moving away. That's the price of it. I don't think it's the sweet escape in my case. And knowing your clients, um, like because I work with you, so knowing your clients, especially male clients, I don't think that for women it will be a sweet escape because, as you mentioned, rich. Rich is very relevant, especially here in the U.S. It's I don't think extremely wealthy people they come to your agency or they do this what they like what you do. I don't think so. Um, but being rich in the U.S. or being rich in Ukraine, or for example, if an American guy comes to Ukraine and a Ukrainian woman think that he's rich in Ukrainian terms, he might not be rich at all here. So the U.S. is expensive. It's an expensive country, just like Ukraine. It's hard. I mean, it's expensive to live here. So I don't think it's a sweet escape.
I see. Well, we are going to talk about this for this
Okay.
next hour. We will talk about the sweetness of the escape and the power you gained being abroad. Now, but let's go from the very beginning. Initially, you made a phone call to me asking for a job of a translator. You ended up being a female client manager, and one day you asked me to become a client. Why?
Well, I think it's because I met my husband there. So I think he
No, no,
was
no.
the
Initially,
reason.
before you met your husband, you were come to work for me,
Yeah.
and then you decided to become my client. What moved you from to become my client?
Okay. So I was always serious about having a family and about like getting married. I always wanted that. And I just saw your work ethic and that you're like a reputable agency, which many people don't understand. And I completely understand why, because you have to be from the inside to actually figure out how it works. Yeah, you can. I can explain, but like to people, you can explain what you do. But yeah, people have prejudices, and that's fine. It's okay. But I saw that you're a serious person, and I thought to myself, why not? I can try. But then I met my husband, and I think that's the reason why I chose him because of his personality, not because it's like the U.S. itself. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
because you don't marry the country, you marry the person, and people come to you when they want to find someone special and they're serious about it because it's a big step, especially for a foreigner to contact you, to go through that experience, to trust someone, to trust someone with the idea that that person will help you, that you will help him find someone special for him. That's a very big step, because you have to admit to yourself that, yeah, I'm ready to do that. So I saw it, and I met my husband. Yeah, that's just that's the reason why I
Cool.
did it.
Initially, I remember you wanted to go to the United States.
Yeah.
Uh, it was maybe even kind of a dream. And uh, well, what changed? Now you are in the United States. You actually have been there for 2 years. And what were your illusions about the USA? And now, did they come true? Or what was the difference between your illusions and reality?
Well, it might sound like a little cheesy, but I always had a feeling that I will move to this country. Just since I was like a teenager. I don't know why. I just felt that sooner or later I will move. I don't know. I can't explain this. It's just, I just had that feeling that I will move one day. So everything just was like lining up for it, because I was studying the language since I was in my university, and I was studying it very like deeply. And I spoke it very easy in Ukraine. I was actually, all my jobs that I had as a freelance writer, as a translator, I always worked in English. So I knew that that's just how my life is. I was always talking to foreigners. It was for me very, very natural. So I don't think I had a lot of illusions about the US. I don't think I had. I was pretty knowledgeable. The only thing I didn't know is that there are so many things in this country that are just different, especially in the big cities. Yeah, it's just very different. So that's
Like
what
for
I didn't
example,
know.
like for example,
For example, homeless. So many homeless everywhere. I know many American men who are watching this right now. They will agree. Like, and for American people, that's normal, especially because I live on the Pacific Northwest. We live in Washington State, and all this Western coast, like West Coast, it's all full, especially California. Oh my goodness, it's it's full of homeless people. For us, like Ukraine, Kiev, we don't have this so much. I mean, we don't have that. You know, I don't know. I don't know. And every time I tell this to American people that Kiev is very beautiful, Kiev is like Seattle minus homeless. That's it. They don't understand. Like they don't understand. Yeah. The only place here without homeless in Washington State is Bellevue, because Bellevue is a Microsoft like world, and also like Google there, and it's like full of Asians and Indians who work at Microsoft. They don't have homeless because it's a corporate city. Other than that, wherever you go, Portland, like Oregon, oh my goodness. I mean, you walk through the street, and it's full of like homeless and stuff like that. Especially like Venice Beach in California, the same thing. For me, it was a very big disappointment, but it's just life here in the U.S. It's just how it is. Um, Food is different. I think I was talking about this before. Yeah, food is different. Everything is just, roads are different. Um, just people in general, culture. I think if you don't know the language, you will have a lot of problems. Even me, because I don't have any problem talking to people, and I don't have any problems with the English language. But when I came here for the first time, for the first month, I was kind of actually scared talking to, because it's just they were talking differently. People, for example, people from Texas, they have a very weird accent. And my husband did military, and I remember we went to that convention at his military facility. And in the army, because it was like a farewell, they were saying goodbye to some guy who was about to retire from his battalion, and everybody met there, like all of his battalion and military spouses, just like me, and all of the coworkers of that guy who was retiring, they were saying something about him, just like last words about their working together or something like that. And there was military is very multicultural. There are some people like from Texas, from the South. They were saying something. I had no idea what they were saying. And I was like talking to my husband, like, hey, I don't understand what they are saying. And he says, like, yeah, they're just from the South. So people talk differently, Um, People from New York, they talk very fast. So that's also a thing. Yeah. Cultural, culturally wise, people from the East Coast are more rude. That's what everybody says. No offense to anyone. It's just what I heard. They're more like fast paced. People from the West Coast, they're more like relaxed and friendly and like, hi, how are you doing? How's your day going? And stuff like that. Like they're very, very open. Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah.
okay. Now, is this true? Well, finishing the sweet escape thing. Uh, as far as I understand and how we were talking with you before, um, dreams and reality are kind of different. Because you move from Ukraine, when everybody considers like it's a third world country. I often hear,
It's not. It's not. I don't
okay,
think.
and literally, yes, I saw two homeless women today in Kiev, but that was an occasion. It was an area where actually they were getting some food, but they're not sleeping on the street like I saw it in the US. That's correct. And before we start moving forward, can you please disconnect and connect your microphone? Maybe we will have better sound. Just unplug and plug it back. Connect it again, please. Oh, lovely.
Is it better now?
Yes, if you can. Uh, so,
Here.
uh, so yeah. So, uh, leaving Ukraine and starting a new life, what I want to tell the guys is leaving Ukraine and starting a new life, it's not a sweet escape. It's a huge challenge. This is something you need to be ready for. You were saying yesterday, Ulyana, as we were preparing for this stream, you said, can you remind me? You were saying about having a plan, have an idea what you want to do.
Yes. Yes. It's actually really. Is the sound fine now?
Yes, perfect.
So it's actually related to some of the questions. To one of the questions that you got, and you told me before, is that somebody asked you what a man should do or how a man can prepare. So, in my opinion, it's very important to lay out a plan for a woman if she moves, or for a man, and better for both, and then they can uh, talk about it and decide what is like better to do, what steps better to take. Because when I was moving, since I was like, I didn't have in I think a lot of time to prepare for my move because it happened like very fast. So I was working, and then I got my visa, and basically I moved in days, like very fast. I didn't really have like a clear plan of what I can do here to apply myself. Plus, my husband, in my case, my personal case, is like specific because my husband is military. So I married a military guy who is captain in the army, and he's finishing his career next year. So, which means that we have to live in kind of remote places because of military bases. And we live in a small town. So, yeah. And my husband, he has been in the military for the past 7 years, which means that he doesn't kind of know the world outside of the military. He doesn't know how things are getting done, and it's understandable because he was progressing. He was determined to get his career, his 7 years in the military, and then he will leave. So he didn't. Plus, he's not a creative person. He's not like me. He never did what I was doing in my life, which I was like, I was writing, I was making content, I was working with digital media, um, and that's what I was doing. When I came here to the US, I wasn't able to work for some time, so I decided to start my own business. Um, it wasn't so I had some struggles with that, but I was doing basically everything on my own, which is a very hard thing to do. I don't recommend it to anyone. You really have to have some kind of support. So, what you can do, how you can prepare as a woman, or how you can help your woman to prepare for life here as a man, you should really talk about this, and you should really focus on things like, okay, what kind of connections can you build as a newcomer to this country? How can you expand your network? You really have to know what kind of steps you have to take to build your network, right? Because when a woman comes to you and you have your friends as a man, right? You have all your life here. It doesn't matter that it will be, you can bring her in, of course, but she also have to have something on her own. She has to have, she has to know how she can build that on her own. Okay, because your interest, your career interest, you're like goals outside of your family can be different, and they should be different, because like a woman can have aspirations, right? Like I am a very ambitious person. It doesn't mean that I don't want my family, or I don't like my husband. I don't love my husband. I don't like having a family. I love that, but I also need something else, because I have ambitions. Okay, that's just how I am. Some women don't. Some women don't want to work. They just want to be at home. That's just fine. That's fine for them. If it's fine for you, if you don't want your woman to work, then yeah, you have to say it. Okay, because if she wants, and then you say no, I brought you to this country, so you have to be my wife and raise my kids, she might not want that. Okay, because Ukrainian women are smart. Okay, and they're hardworking. That's the thing. You cannot stop this like from happening. And I know some cases when it's very, very hard to adjust. Okay. Like, for example, if I was moving to the US on my own, I would never move to a small city, to a small town, because there is no opportunities here. And I had a very, very hard time building my network, finding people, finding myself, finding what to do. Um, so my husband unfortunately could not help me. He could only help me financially, but he couldn't help me like to figure out how to enter a career path in this country. So it took me a long time to do the research, to figure out myself, figure out what I love to do, what I can do, what I am strong at, and how I can actually, what steps I can take in this country to enter a career path or something like that. Because I aspire to do that. So it's just my personal preference. I love developing myself. I love studying. I love um, doing things and getting things done and setting goals outside of my family. But I also love my family. So it's kind of, for me, it's just I need both. You know, like just how I am. So yeah, it's very important when you come to the US or when you move. You really have to know what you can do. Um, Not just like, yeah, maybe I will do that. No, you really like have to have a plan, you know, where to
But you
go to, where
can't
to
have a
study.
plan. Even if you have a plan and you will be doing X, Y, and Z, there comes reality. And yeah, well, you live in a small town, or economical situation isn't favorable. But I understand. I understand what you mean. You need to know what you actually have as a woman, what you can rely on with your husband, and how you can move forward together and making plans like step by step. I'm asking gentlemen that I'm working with now, telling, how do you see your life happening? And for some of them, it's like, what? Yeah, and that's what I'm asking about. And now we have a question from a guy, that was there something you wish your husband could have planned or done better? And I understand men want to succeed in international relationship. So let's give them some support. Let's give them some ideas. What can be done better?
I think, for example, if a lady doesn't speak English well, or she has problems with that, you really have to find her a school, find her a tutor.
Before she leaves Ukraine.
Yes, before.
Yeah.
This is what I was actually talking about. Um, because in order to transition, no matter what her career was, she probably needs to take some classes at some community college or some university to get some certificates in order to prove her education or something like that, in order to be um, seen as a professional here. Try to find how she can do that,
Mhm.
and try, if you can, save money for it for her, or tell her like, hey, I need you to have some money for this. I need your help. We can pay half half, or I can pay for you, or I don't know, something like that, for that, because it's expensive, but it's important.
Okay.
Um, Plus, find it depends on where you live, of course. Find some Ukrainian Russian communities on Facebook
Mhm.
and introduce her to those communities. Now it's all digital because of COVID, but next year, hopefully, in a year maybe, people say it here, that it will get better. So we will be meeting again, like each other again. You know, this is very, very important, because
Short
she
also.
has to be. Huh?
The church is important, right?
Yes
Or it's
and
not so strong. Yes and no.
yes and no. It depends. For example, the Orthodox Church might not be in the place where you live, and that's fine
Mhm.
because uh, again, if she because she will not be comfortable driving in the U.S. How is she supposed to go there? And you will drive her every time, but church might not be the best place, especially Orthodox Church, because our churches, like in Ukraine, they're kind of more like conventional. They're not like communities,
Mhm.
not like a Baptist church here in the U.S., which she might not be comfortable with. But yeah, I know that churches have some like classes or gathering groups, which might be helpful. But okay, again, if a woman doesn't want to do charity work, or she's not interested in like charity or supporting someone or something like that, don't force her into that. She might not be like, I personally don't feel compelled. For me, maybe it's just for me the equivalent of success, or just the equivalent of my job, is money that I get for it. So I'm not very much into like charity things yet, because I'm young. Maybe just, I don't know.
There is a question between the age difference between you and your husband. How
Yeah,
old are you now, Ulyana?
I'm 26,
Yeah, and your husband is
28.
20. So the age difference, it matters. But in your case, it's a blessing. It's like, wow. But what do you think about the age difference, which is also about Sweet Escape? What do you think now, as you see other couples and you see international marriages and local marriages? What is a good age difference?
So all the people I know, all the Ukrainian girls I know who married to American husbands here, different reasons, different ways they came to the US, not like through agencies or something, just different ways. Usually their husbands are like 34, 36 years old. I think this is the age. So from 32 and above, like 32 and above, this is when American men, they prefer to get married. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. That's what
Mhm.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's fine because I know that men, they mature a little later than women. I think it's fine that
What do you think is a good age difference? What's the top? What's the maximum age difference that you've seen and it was working? What's the greatest age difference?
maybe like 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's fine. It depends, of course, on the girl as well. Like if a girl is like 22, maybe she's not ready to get married, and that's can be a problem. So
Now, what do you miss the most in Ukraine? Finishing the subject of the Sweet Escape, is there anything you like? Several things you might really, really miss.
yeah, so I miss living in the city
Yeah.
because I really like living in the city. That's what I was doing all my life, and I did it deliberately. Um, I moved to Kiev when I was 17, just because I love living in the city. That I miss a lot. I hope we are going to move and we are going to live in a bigger place, just because I see myself like what I do, what I aspire to do, my opportunities, they are in the city.
Mhm.
So I have to. I know it's expensive in the US. Well, Kyiv is also expensive, but that's just what you have to pay if you want to develop yourself as a professional. So I miss that a lot. Food, sometimes I do miss. I really do miss food. Also, like a recommendation, find a woman some Russian or Ukrainian stores, because there are some in every state. Just Google it and bring her there, because they have like food items and some other items that are brought from Russia and Ukraine to the US. And she also can talk to people there, because usually people who work there, they are Russians or Ukrainians. So she can ask them like, where do you go? Where do you meet? Who do you know? How can I meet you guys? How can I connect with you guys? I'm a new person here.
Is
And she
this
will.
where you met the most of the people in the Ukrainian community?
No,
No.
no, actually,
Where did
no.
you meet?
Oh,
Where did
well,
you meet? Expats from Ukraine.
So one girl I met when I was working at the optical store on the base, on the military base, because she's also a military spouse, and I think she just recognized me. No, I recognized her
Very
accent.
beautiful face, yes.
No, I was in the masks. Natalie, it's like COVID restrictions. We're all wearing masks. So her accent, I recognized her accent, and her name was Alina, which is like like a name common in this Eastern Europe. Yeah. So yeah, but she moved here when she was 12 with her mom. So
Hmm.
she's just married to an American guy who's military. So we actually meet each other quite often. She lives here like 40 minutes away from
But
me.
besides the store, and that girl you met her recently, but is there
In the hair
a
salon.
place hair salon? So no,
No.
no.
Especially now, Natalie, no. And this is the thing, like many, the majority of the community, the Ukrainian and Russian community, they live closer to Seattle.
I see.
They don't live where we live, which is I have to go there every time to meet them. And now they don't meet because of COVID. But they usually they're older people, and I never happen to like be friends with them. So
I see. Okay. Well, we have a question here from a guy that if your partner or wife adapts to Western habits and all, meaning bad Western habits, what bad Western habits have you observed now living for 2 years in the USA? And is there a temptation to like go good girl going bad?
Oh, well, Natalie, that's a very hard question because I don't know much about it. The only thing I know about Americans is that they sometimes it's quite common. They don't like taking their shoes off in the house.
So that's a bad habit in your eyes.
In my opinion,
Terrible.
yeah, because you have to clean it all the time. Well, it depends. Okay, because we live where it rains a lot, so I would not want my husband to in his shoes because I would have to clean it all. I don't like that. I think it's much better if you just take off your shoes. Um, what else? What is the well? See, bad habits like different for anyone. Well, on the west coast we are allowed like marijuana is legalized here, so people smoke. I don't think well, I'm not interested in that. We don't smoke that because my husband is military. He's not allowed to smoke marijuana or anything like that, and
He
I,
doesn't
I
need.
never
Not he.
yeah.
It's not in his plan of life. You
See,
know.
for us, for you, this is the thing. This is how we see it. But
Yeah.
Americans, they don't see it that way. If it's
Yeah.
legalized, let's go and smoke it. It's fine. I'm not talking about like some other drugs that are also like in California, very like cocaine and stuff like that. You can get that. I know people who do it. Never done it myself. Never interested. It's very expensive. It's a bad habit. It's easier to get it here because it's like people say it's close to Mexico. That's why I have no idea whether it's true or not. But it's easier
Well,
to get here
I
than in
can
UK.
answer that question for our visitor, saying that I see often that a woman, well, the women that we are attracting in our matchmaking boutique are coming with very high moral standards and very high integrity. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. I do agree.
And when they make a couple, they take their values, they take their morality, and they kind of like if there was something kind of not so good, it equalizes and it becomes like more stable. And she holds the family, making this relationship better. Sometimes they fight, but actually, the values that we bring into the family as Ukrainian wives aren't really letting the bad stuff interfere too much. I've seen many different couples, and well, they do have arguments because of that, because because of like different bad habits, and so. But then she says, if you don't stop doing that, I go back home. I don't need your like I don't know, drinking or like abusing this and that, or like not following the plan, not keeping the word or so. So it kind of makes it more whole, right? But we have for more questions to talk about. And the last one, we have yeah, bad habits and waste of money. Yeah, you never know when you're wasting money, especially when you're buying something nice. Right, but that's girls' opinion. But during the initial few months, did you regret your decision to move? Is Ken's question. Yeah.
Well, it was very hard for me. Okay, initial few months were very hard. Um, mm, I don't know because I love my husband so, but I paid a lot for this. I paid a lot. I admit that. It's not easy at all. Unfortunately, maybe people want to hear something different. It will work if you make it work. If you're two serious people who want to be with each other and you're very serious about it. Because I was, and it was just very hard for me. Okay, even though I didn't know that it will be so hard, it's mentally very
Hmm.
hard. Because you're basically brought to a completely new environment. Um,
Yeah.
you have to adapt.
Well, you are a blessed woman with a really loving husband, and I know how much he's done for you, and how much you've done for him. So that's the key when the husband supports, and when he's there crying with you, or like comforting you when you are not really like happy. Doesn't it? Doesn't it help?
It does. Plus, uh, you know, as a woman, you really have to understand that it's your choice. You know, like you can't blame and you shouldn't blame anyone
Thank you. Thank you.
for anything. Like you can't, if it does it because like you're two adults, okay? If you want to make it work, you should make it work. You don't have like time. You don't have time like uh, to waste like arguing or fighting. Why? Like why would you do that? You're not kids anymore, So you should really just work on it. Just make it
Yeah.
work. Say what you don't like. You have to be very upfront about it. Not
Mhm.
like escaping, going somewhere like drinking, partying, or something like that, or just being with your friends. Um, Plus, you really, as a man, you should understand that it's hard for her because she's completely new to everything. So if you love her, uh, make it work. You really have to like help her, be understanding. Don't like flash out. Don't like, oh my god, she's just a bitch. No,
Thank you.
if she is, I'm sorry, can be.
Yeah. Can be.
Yeah.
Well, then moving forward to the next myth of the mail order bride issue is the divorce rates. They say the American statistics says that 80% of couples who marry internationally stay together. 80%. So international marriages are more conscious. People make bigger efforts. Do you see that? Not only, well, in your family, yeah, you've been together, you're happy, but do you see in other international families, do you see that they are stronger, that they really hold to each other?
I think so. I
Why?
know men.
What
I
is
know.
different from the American local families and the international ones? Did you
So I know
notice?
some men who really prefer marrying not American women. I know that for a variety of reasons. I just think it brings something different to the family.
Please
Um,
don't be diplomatic. Like, say it, Ulyana. Come on.
Say what, Natalie? I don't
I
know.
mean, tell the truth. I mean, especially, I see that you're trying to pick up words. Like, yeah.
Well, what I've heard, I don't know. What I've heard from multiple people, from multiple men, is that American women can be crazy.
Oh.
Yes, they can be crazy, they can be abusive,
Mhm.
they can be very selfish. They only think of themselves. They don't really. They like to be in the relationships, but like you are you, I am me, and we're here to just as partners. But you have your life, I have my life. We like pay 50-50. You do this, I do that. I don't want to do this for you because, well, I am my own woman and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Feminist.
We don't do that. No,
Yeah,
we don't do
that's the
that.
thing. You don't. So like Ukrainian women, they don't. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
uh, that's why maybe that's why they prefer to marry someone else. Plus,
right.
like beauty, also
Mhm.
kind
Yeah,
of plays a big role. Mm, yeah, that's what I know some men who really, and my husband told me like about his friend. He's also a military guy. They were working together in Georgia. That guy, he was married to. He's an American. His roots are like very long. His first like ancestors, they came to the U.S. in like 1700. So very American guy, like from the middle of the U.S. And he was married to an American woman who was also in the military. And um, before he was married to her, he was dating as well, like American woman. And then she almost stabbed him with a knife, and he was just like, yeah, he was very like lucky to escape. And then he had some overseas training as a military guy. He went to Korea and he fell in love with Korean women just in general. And he was always like deliberately after that experience with American woman, almost stabbing him. Because domestic abuse is a real thing here, okay? Happens all the time.
yeah. Guys, I
So,
confirm. By the way,
yes,
as you were
yes.
talking,
Oh my God, this is
Mr.
so bad. I'm so
Roger
sorry
Smith
that you
says
confirm it.
that marriage is 100% from each person, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
this
so
girl is doing
he's
that.
married to a Korean woman now, and he's very happy. And he will
Cool.
never he likes Korean women, like an American guy who doesn't. I don't think he has anyone in his bloodline from Korea, but he's like really, really, and he's very happy. His wife is a quiet woman, no stabbing, no knives, no nothing, and he's happy because he survived. So that's great.
Well, myth number three: unfriendly attitudes. I often hear that when a man goes to Ukraine to be introduced to his future wife, his family is telling him, because the guys are confessing it to me. It's like, my old friends are thinking that I'm crazy, that I'm going to Ukraine looking for a wife. Families are saying, "Oh, she's going to use you. She's going to take advantage of you." And then they are kind of suspicious. It's a new wife. Okay, let's see what she's up to. Did you see unfriendly attitudes from local Americans towards you or other Ukrainian friends? Did you hear people talking about it? Is it really so?
Yeah, the girl I know, she's from Belarus, and she's married to an American guy who wanted to marry a Slavic woman.
Hmm.
Um, his parents were very like suspicious about it, but now they're very good friends. So yeah, I know that it can be suspicious, unfortunately,
Was
because
your husband's family suspicious about you, or did you feel the unfriendliness initially?
I don't think so. No, maybe they because I am very different. Okay, my husband has Indian roots.
Uh-huh.
Their families are different.
They're
Um,
like, love everybody.
yeah, which for me is not how I am. We have more like nuclear families. Um, so yeah, it took some time to adjust. To just because maybe they were offended by me, or they felt like I'm not doing the everything that they want me to do, but I am different.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I think we talked about it, and we just discussed that. Well, initially, I came to marry my husband. I didn't come to marry his family. This is my thing. In India, it's different. They like if a girl comes, she's a part of a family. Well, I think differently. So I just had to talk. I just had to vocalize this. Just say it. Like, yeah,
Okay.
this is how I see. Yeah, so, well, you don't have to you don't really unfortunately, this is true, Natalie. You, like your clients as male clients, they don't have to say how they met their women. Sometimes they, if they don't want to tell that they're like uncles and aunts that, yeah, I went to the agency, you don't have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, just like I said, sometimes it's very hard for people to understand what is how it works.
Yeah.
I know, because I was in it, I worked with you, but I know I can't force people to believe me. If they don't want to believe it, they're suspicious. But again, we have social media right now. People post so many pictures, and even like some very um, provocative pictures on Instagram or something like that. Some girls do that. They show like their bodies and stuff like that, like provocative and swimsuits and stuff like that. And if you text that girl and you want to meet her in life, you can do it. But then you will tell your family that, yeah, I met this girl on Instagram. And they will not be suspicious, right? Because, yeah, it's Instagram. But if you tell that I came to Ukraine to meet a
That's
matchmaker,
right.
they
Yeah.
will be suspicious. Why? It doesn't make sense. I think
Yeah.
it's much better
Thank
than
you.
posting your pictures online, which can be provocative. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the fourth myth is it dangerous? And do you see real dangers in marrying an American now, and for an American marry a Ukrainian girlfriend? And if so, what are these dangers? Well, there are, but these are true facts that there are big figures now in international marriages between Ukraine and America, Russia and America. And of course, everything happens. There are good families, there are bad families. And some girls were murdered, and some guys were badly robbed. And there are some bitter, very, very dark stories. But that happens very rarely and makes the news, and everybody knows it, and everybody's afraid of it. But do you see the dangers in real life? Like, and if you see them, what are they?
First of all, there are some places in the U.S. that just not very safe to live in,
Yeah.
but all the Americans know it, and I know all your. I think all your male clients they know. Like, for example, you don't live in certain communities. You live in some other areas. When you look for a house, you ask, or you just drive through the neighborhood. You understand that, oh, maybe here is not very safe to live because I can't walk at night.
Yeah.
That's like, that's obvious. Um, I think that when it comes to your agency, you don't take all the people in. You don't take all the women in, and you have a very hard, like heavy screening of your clients.
Yeah.
So your male client should not worry that the woman will be crazy, because if she's crazy, she will not. You will not take her in.
Yeah.
Because I worked with women, I understand like there is a screening process to it, as well as for men. You don't take crazy men,
Yeah.
so people should not worry. Um,
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, like domestic abuse is a real thing, but I'm sorry, that's just bad. And you just have to, like, if you really feel like you can argue till the police comes for to separate you or to calm you down, you shouldn't be together because it's just dangerous for both of you. Yeah, so I don't think it will be dangerous for any of your female clients to come to any of your male clients because you screen all of them. Yeah, if you just meet someone online and that person, you don't know that person, you don't have a third party just like you to evaluate your relationships and personalities, yeah, that might be dangerous. You should not invite some Ukrainian girl come to you just random, because
Yeah. It
you
can
don't
be
know
things.
her, you don't know her background, you don't know her goals, you don't know why she wants this. So yeah, but they have you as a third party. That's my,
Yeah.
I think, no worries.
So far, we've been busting some of the myths about international relationship and, let's say, male or the bride phenomena. It is not a sweet escape, as some people might believe, and the divorce rates are really low, and people stay together. Well, yes, there is a certain degree of unfriendliness, as we've discussed with Ulyana, and it is not dangerous in the sense of everyday life, but you've got to be smart. You don't go to certain areas and you don't invite strangers into your home. This is Marriage by Natalie, Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie Kaval, and we continue our live stream. We have about 10 minutes to finish, and I want to bust one more myth, and then we will come to some questions a gentleman asked. And the first thing why Ukrainian women post themselves online and look for international husbands is they say Ukrainian men are bad, and the local men are not so good, and foreigners are better husbands. Well, you're married to an American. I'm married to Ukrainian. So we have different opinions. I'm saying that Ukrainian men are good, but they just don't, they lack self confidence and they lack the assertiveness. Uh, that's about it. They just need to believe in themselves more. But what's your opinion? Your friends, the ladies that are living in the US that you meet, what do they say about Ukrainian men? Couldn't they find a husband here?
Well, my friend Alina, who has been here for 16 years, and she moved when she was 12. She is from California. I mean, she moved to California. She went to school in Beverly Hills, to a very good public school, but Beverly Hills means very good one. And she was among a Russian community there. She's Russian, so her friends were Russian. Her first love was he was a Russian guy, and they were about to get married, but he went down that route when he was started drinking. He started using drugs, and he started cheating on her. Very common among Russian men. I'm sorry, it's very common. And she didn't want that,
Was he
so
Russian or Ukrainian?
he was Russian. Yes, and she's married to an American guy. She's very happy, and she says, I don't like Russian men. I don't like Slavic men. They're pigs and stuff like that. Her opinion.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't have any luck. I never met serious Ukrainian guys when I was back in Ukraine. My intentions were always serious. I never wanted to be used. I have standards,
Yeah.
which means I would not just be in relationships for the sake of relationships, just have fun. I need like commitment, and I need somebody who's serious. Otherwise, I have other things to do. That's why when I met my husband, he's a serious man. He knew what he wanted. That's why I fell in love with him. And
If he was from another country, not American, would you be happy with
yes,
a foreigner? See, he's actually Indian. A
yeah.
gentleman with an unpronounceable nickname is.
Well, he's Indian, but he's kind of American because he moved here when he was 5. So
Yeah,
he's
he
not
grew
Indian.
up. He grew up American. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, going back to the question of Ukrainian man, I see a lot of happy couples. When a man is, when a man has goals in life, when a man is having a plan, when he is coming from good family, and then it's working. Right when he's building up his self-confidence and when he's assertive, and I see it more in Western men. When they are growing up, they are told to take more responsibility. They are trained to be more powerful. Let's say, do you agree?
Natalie, actually depends from a person to person.
Hmm.
I know some guys here who are not very, especially like military guys, enlisted in military. Sometimes they don't. They just play video games in their barracks. They don't pursue anything. But then they can't build relationships, because in order to build relationships, you really have to be someone. You really have to mm, have some assets or something like that. You really have to have some goals, some money, some seriousness in you. Um, I think, well, people here, teenagers, they start earning money earlier because this is what they do. They go to work at like fast food or whatever they can at the age of 16. So maybe that's why some of them are more serious. In Ukraine, I know it's not the thing. But again, it also depends highly on the upbringing. There are some women here who are very overprotective of their boys, and if you are an overprotective mom, your son will not be very like aspired to do
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the upbringing.
Thank you. Yeah, I would agree with you. But also, society is more favorable. It's easier to find a job in America for a teenager. Do you
Yes,
agree?
it's true.
Than
Yes.
in Ukraine. It's easier to have it yeah, we overprotect our kids here in Ukraine. Yeah, stay at home, do this, don't do that, and you'll grow up. But Americans kick out there, so yeah, have a job, do like achieve something rather than just yeah, financial. At least these are the guys that I'm talking because
Yeah.
when we are remember when we had numerous meetings like brainstorming meetings, we have applications from guys registering, and I see like from 100 profiles I can barely get say 5 or 10 that would be capable of sustaining international relationship, remember. And uh,
Yes.
and this is what was missing, like being reliable, being stable, being having goals in life, and so on. So yeah,
Yeah.
I I would say international. Well, talking about we are about to finish, and there is one more question that I would like to answer if you don't mind. But overall, I would like to say, male or the bride. Uh, different education level between you and your husband. The Muslim Ummah is now being active. So, do you have a different educational level between you and your husband?
No, and I think it's also very important to mention. My husband has BA, and I have bachelor's degree, and I'm getting the professional certificate right now to get into the industry of the digital marketing here, what I'm interested in. But since I have bachelor's and he has bachelor's, that's why he's captain. We are kind of we studied a lot in our lives, so we value the education. My husband is also, after he is done with the military next year, he's going to the MBA program because he wants to work in that industry in the banking. So yeah, he's very ambitious person, which I am as well. Also, if you're an ambitious man and you will marry a girl who doesn't want anything, you will be bored with her.
Yeah.
Or if you don't really have ambitions, you just want her to sit home and raise your kids, and she wants to go and do something in her life with her life, you will be unhappy. But it's not because you are bad or she's bad. It's just because you have different goals and
Mhm.
views on life. So this is very important to discuss. What is your goal? What do you want to do? What do you see yourself doing when you come to the US? Please ask these questions because this is so important. If you don't want her to just go shopping and waste your money, you have to make sure she has some hobbies, she has some interests, and she can work on them while she's waiting for her documents, while she's studying the language, building the network. But make sure she's just like you, or she is as ambitious or as not ambitious as you, if it makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. Thank you. I heard once a gentleman was saying they got married this summer, and the guy is saying, "Wow, she is so well educated. Now I understand why it is so difficult for you not to do the match because it takes a really educated man who is deep to understand the depth of the wife he's getting from Ukraine. And this man is he is 58 and his wife is 52. So they both live life, but like every day is an enjoyment for them. So yes, I would say international relationships really work. The divorce rates in our agency, I've calculated that it's less than 20%, like something like 18. Well, yeah, people. people do live, and sometimes it's not a solid match, but it's only 20%. It's like the same level as arranged marriages in India. So hallelujah, it's working. And well, I would say, like, busting the myth about mail order brides. From talking to you, Ulyana, I understand that immigration is a huge challenge in life, and you've got to find your friends, you've got to find your community, and you actually have to rely on yourself and resources of your husband, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And it doesn't take a weak person to relocate. Well, you can be whoever to relocate, but we do have ladies who went to the US. They had a good time, but they came back because they say, I won't be able to survive the immigration, and they are looking elsewhere. So uh, such
Yeah.
is life. But I would like to say to the guys that if you are confident in yourself and if you can build true relationships, Dayani has all the chances to work. Look at Ulyana. She loves her husband loves her, and it's working, and she's surviving. I believe that this is due to love, that all is rolling. A little bit of sense of humor.
Yeah, I think so. But also,
And a beautiful kitten, right?
yeah, what? Cat?
And a beautiful kitten or a little puppy.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But we also kind of, my husband and I, we kind of have similar backgrounds, I would say, upbringing wise and stuff like that. And he also understands me. He accepts that I'm not a homestay wife, and I will never be. I have my own ambitions, and he accepts this. Okay, some guys they probably don't, um, and that can be hard for a woman. But some women are different, so it's really it's also up to you, Natalie, because you help people to match. So yeah, I would say you have to be willing to work, and you have to be willing to take it seriously, your relationships, and a woman. I wish everyone to have meet nice women in your agency. I know they exist, and I know it's possible.
It
I
is
wish you all
possible.
to be
This is
wise. Yes,
our new
yes,
brand.
it's
Anything is
possible.
possible.
It's
We are
possible. It
launching
really
on
is.
Monday. Join us because we will have a totally new website on Monday. I'll make this announcement, and with all the optimism and the power that the power of love that I have within myself, I am helping people find love
Yes,
when they open up, when they really connect to each other, then everything is possible.
yes, I agree. Yeah,
So
yes,
that's
I
the
agree
thing.
with you.
It's not always easy. Sometimes you have to take several trips, but it is possible.
Don't look just at pictures of women. You really have to talk to them, and you really have to talk to Natalie about them. Pictures can be very, very deceiving. It
That's
can
true.
just not be for you. Like that pretty model looking woman might just not be for you. Okay.
Well, it's a long story. Well, we are
Yeah.
finishing our stream. I would like to thank our wonderful gentlemen, Roger, Volno, Dwayne Hicks, Muslim Muma. They've been with us. They've been Ken, and I haven't named everybody else, but guys were making comments about some professions. For example, Roger Smith was saying his wife is a lawyer in Ukraine, but in my experience, the ladies who were lawyers, they had to study completely again to
It's true.
become a lawyer. But the good news is that if she wants to live in Ukraine or in America and practice law, she is very clever because being a lawyer in Ukraine is like it takes very brainy woman. So it means that she can study again and become a lawyer if she wants to. But like such professions as doctors or lawyers are very difficult to adapt, and sometimes people are starting completely new career rather than following what they've learned to do.
Natalie, I actually know a little bit about it because of my what I know, my people I know here. So,
Yeah.
if your woman, she is a doctor and she got her degree in the Soviet times, she will be finding very hard time transitioning her classes she took to this the U.S. system. But it's possible to go get the certificate. It takes several weeks to get a certificate, so she can work in a lab at some biotech company as Quest Diagnostics, Roche, all these big companies. Because this is what my mother-in-law did. She got the medical degree in India. She was a teacher there, and then she came here when she was 28. She went for some course in Oregon. She got her certificate, and she was working in the lab. And then she at the Roche company in San Francisco area. And then she progressed. So now she does the research side. She doesn't work in the lab, but she works with the research at the biotech. And she didn't have to go to school to get her BA as a doctor here from scratch because she got that certificate. So it's possible. As a lawyer, yeah, she would have to take LSAT, which is a very hard exam. Study for it. Your language should be good, like the English should be good and stuff like that. But if she gets that, there are different universities, which like across the U.S. She doesn't have to go to the top-notch university, but with a law degree, she can work with the Russian or Ukrainian community as a lawyer. That's what Oksana Van Roy does. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's possible too.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of like hard work, like several years of hard work, but it's absolutely possible if you can help her take the student's loan, so she can pay for her school. Doesn't have to be a top-notch school. Just yeah, just a good university at any state. Possible as well. So it can be done. Just make sure that the woman has to understand that I have to work hard for several years to establish myself here, but it's 100% possible.
Now, having you here today was my attempt to show gentlemen a success story, to show that anything is possible if you have love, if you find somebody you connect to. And here they could hear first-hand comments. You are you have your personality, you handle reality in your way, and you shared how you did it. uh, and I'm going to continue inviting other couples and women and men who've been through the process, who are successfully married. By the way, now Olga is on the is 8 months pregnant. Olga and Luis, I mean, like little kitty, yay! And yeah, they got married when you were working with us, right?
Yeah.
And now we have another girl, Katerina. They've been dating for 3 years. They got married this year on the 6th of March. Now she's pregnant. She's 3 months pregnant. So we have new babies coming. We have more things happening, and I will be sharing these stories because I believe in sharing successes, not fuck ups. I believe in giving power to people. And as optimistic as I am, I will do everything I can to ignite the fire of love and happiness in other people's hearts because everything is possible.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you, Ulyana. Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank
gentlemen,
you.
and thank you for joining us. We are finishing. We've been uh, we've been having good audience and more to come. Stay subscribed with Marriage by Natalie. It's soon going to be possible. Matchmaking boutique by Natalie Koval. Possible. So you will see the changes in our layouts. That's us. That's just rebranded us. And we will give you more stories, and we will be following up on you, Ulyana. Like next time you achieve something new,
Sure.
you can share. Do you agree?
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
of course, no problem.
So hugs to all the guys. Big hug to you, my dear,
Thank you.
and hugs to your husbands.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, gentlemen, and bye bye to you.